Welcome back. Here we are. We are in day 3 of the challenge, and what we're going to be going over today is your homework assignment. So doing this in a little bit of reverse order, but why don't you go out there, begin looking at and for some facilities, and then we're going to talk about the best ways to go about doing this going forward from here. So what we're going to do, and again, if anybody's joining us for the first time, we are in a 5-day challenge. And the idea behind this is to get out there into the market and begin to get active, by doing, not just learning. Many of you have been following my videos and following us for years. We've been at it for now, 16 years now. We've been teaching people how to do this, and been in real estate for 27. Holy mackerel! So where did the time go? But what I've noticed, the way to get people engaged and out doing it and over their fears is to give them a homework assignment and then give them a little carrot at the end of it. So if you are joining us, you may be a little too far behind, but the homework assignments were to create your business plan, and we sent out a copy of that on Monday. And then yesterday was to go out and begin looking at facilities to be able to analyze and look at to see whether it's a deal or not, and what you like about it. And so we're going to go over that at the end of our time together here. Or so, you know what? I take that back. Let's do that at the beginning here. So the homework assignment was go out and find some deals and tell us what you like about it, what you found, how many you found, and what you like about it. So I'm going to begin to go through some of the ways to find them, and some of the ways that we're going to be talking about today for those of you who may be joining us for the first time. But if you could, how about in the chat, some of you give us your results. So what did you find out there as you went out there into the marketplace, and what attracted you to some of these projects in which you felt it was a deal? So we're always looking, there's opportunities, plenty of opportunities out there to look at. The question is it a deal or not? And that is always, the $1 million question is the difference between just an opportunity versus a deal. So post that in the chat. And again, a reminder and to all that have been with us during this time, but for those who may be joining us for the first time, if you complete all 5 homework assignments for the 5 days, Monday through Friday, you are going to be registered to get your choice of our home study system and live event combo, or our physical home study system, or 12 months, 1 year of our Kickstarter program at a value of $97 a month. So with that, make sure that you are caught up on your homework. And for those of you, pay attention to your homework assignment, which we'll have today here in just a little bit. So let's see here, Bill. Good. What he found is features a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, so you can live there. About an hour from your house, can be split into parcels, 9.2 acres, a lot of space for growth already, has lots of barn and storage space, 10,000 square feet, so it's a small facility. I'm not going to put the city that you said that you put it in, just in case, Bill, but it is a growing city and will likely continue to push outwards. So it sounds like this is in the path of progress. So before I'm not going to try to pick it apart, but a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, yeah, if you want to live there, fantastic. Yeah, sometimes we can use that as a manager's quarters, but I go back and forth on that. Typically, we'll turn those into, we can either lease it out depending upon its location on the site, but then also we turn them into a business center as well and use it as space that the current clients can use as well. So good. Well, now it's up to you to grab the numbers so you can underwrite it and see if it makes sense to do so. Kelly said there's a need for more storage in the market in my hometown where I own an empty lot that abuts up to my residence lot. The location is on a major highway with great visuals. I don't know. I'm going to let Kurt be the judge. If that counts as homework, your own vacant parcel that's adjacent to where you live. I don't know. I think you may have to do a little better than that, Kane, but we'll see. Oh, here we go. What we like about it is great location, fully occupied, mini storage, lots of value add. Oh, this is Kane's. I'm sorry. So that was Kelly. Kelly said there's a need for more storage, and she has an empty lot. So sorry, Kurt, you need to weigh in and see whether Kelly, whether that qualifies. Kane said we have a deal. Recently made a lowball offer on, is a moving and storage company, asking way too much for the property. What we like about it is great location, fully occupied, mini storage, lots of value add. So that's good. The lowball, if you don't want all of it, one of the things you may want to look at is seeing if they'll carve out the business. If you don't want the moving business, it's a little more difficult to do, but I would look at that. I would look at that. See if there's if they are open to that, selling the business off. All right, let's see here. Kane said what we do not like about it. Number one, limited growth opportunity, and the moving company is not passive. You're not kidding. It's not. So yep, you may want to look to see if there's a possibility of carving that out. Donna. I was intrigued by this land. It has been on the market since 2018. Could negotiate price since it's been on the market for a while. Off major highway, I would put Ken's portables on it. All right, Donna, you've been following us a little bit, so I'm not gonna. I see the link. Oh, you put it to just the panelist. Okay, so I'll take a peek at that in a bit here, but that does qualify. All right, Kurt. Oh, Kurt's always going to qualify everybody. I believe it does qualify, Kelly, but we would like to challenge you to find something that you don't already own. It can be an existing facility, conversion, or development. All right, Kurt, if you say so. He's the final veto. Kelly, I've been researching for the last 3 months on the market to build. I've done a lot of legwork, not looking to purchase existing. Okay, good, good. What else, gang? Anybody else? Feel free to submit them on the chat, but then also those go to Kurt directly to qualify. So that's good. That's off to a good start. So let's make good use of our time. And oh, Chris comes in, late entry. I found one with a few cabins, a home and over 40 units, about 40 minutes from my home. I don't like that majority of the income is from the rentals. 40 units, about 40 minutes from home. A few cabins from home and over 40 units. 40 units from home. Yeah, I could take a look at that, perhaps, Chris, but it's just as important. It's just as important to know what you don't like about it in terms of your ability to sell it and your exit strategy and or just owning it. And Bill, sure, would love to know the problems you saw as well. Victoria, found a property about an hour from my house, 0.92 acres and 60 units, sold with an additional 4.3 acres, but this is overpriced in my opinion, okay? Well, who says? It depends upon whether your opinion is right or not. I don't like 0.92 acres with 60 units, but I do like an additional 4.3 acres if there's the ability to, if the market will support more, if there's a demand for more. Okay, well, there you go, Chris. The property could be split in two and the cabins could be sold off. Well, there you go. Victoria said, I like it because it's in a growing area and has potential for growth. It's always what we'd like to see. Chris says, sorry about the fat finger typing. No worries about it. No worries about it. Bill says, concern, zoned agriculture. Unsure if this changed or how. Still has some development construction costs as this is not currently self-storage, very low population. Yeah, that'd be that. I think Orient House, much the rest of the 44. Okay, yeah, I don't think the income's such a big issue, but I think that it's the population. Unless there's some growth coming there, Bill, soon, that may be a little bit difficult. Maybe a little bit difficult. Okay. Okay. In the Q&A section, Mary asked the question, you mentioned an SBA loan on Monday's call. I know there are different types of SBA loans. What type should I be applying for and who should I contact? I have a potential facility with 32 units and ability to put up 2 more buildings. Also has 2 more units being used as a heated shop I could rent out or turn back to storage space. Also has a front and antique shop I intend to use as a self check-in kiosk and other retail revenue. So what I would do with that, Mary, is Kurt, could you get Mary in touch with our friends over at Live Oak and just make that introduction, maybe by way of email would be best. And if you could do that, it'd be a little quicker than me getting back around to it, later on after the call. So Kurt will get you in touch with our friends over there at Live Oak. And I'm going to let Bishesh, most likely Bishesh or Mo, talk to you about what would be best. I'm thinking 7A is what they've been quoting recently, but with the addition of 2 more buildings, we may look at a 504, and depending on how much you're looking to add, maybe a combination of the 7A and the 504. Okay, there we go. All right. All right, so with that, let's talk about, all right, well done, gang, well done. And continue to send those in, Okay, so let's talk about where do you find them? Where do you find facilities? what is the best way to go about looking for them? And what we found is there's 11 different ways that we use to find facilities, and so I'm going to touch on just a few of my favorites. And we're going to have a little bit of time for Q&A today, and then we're going to discuss your next homework assignment. So first of all, if I could sit tight just 1 second, I need to check on one piece of tech. All right. So first and foremost is going out into your market and contacting the commercial real estate brokers as well as the self-storage brokers. So there's a number of brokerage houses that are self-storage specific, and the large commercial real estate brokerage houses have folks that specialize in self-storage. So those are the folks that you want to find. Those are the folks that you'll see on LoopNet. They are out there in the market. They're transacting a lot. You're going to see their names in those circles, and they're going to be active in the marketplace. So those are the folks that you want to call. And my approach is to tell them that I want the stuff that I want the junk. I want the stuff they don't want to bother with. So when they are sending their marketing mailers out, they're going to get a lot of calls from mom and pop owners that have small facilities in rural areas that are going to be difficult to finance. They're going to be difficult to find somebody on their buyer's list, meaning the broker on their buyer's list that is interested in those. And they're going to be tough to get across the finish line because it's a pain in the rear to try to gather all of the records and information on that facility to underwrite it, to put it in front of a lender, and then ultimately to close on this small facility after all that work. The broker doesn't make an awful lot of money. They may be splitting the commission at 3%, and then by the time they pay the rest back to the broker, they don't have a whole lot left. So I would provide them a solution. Here's my name and phone number, Mr. or Mrs. Broker. When you run across a facility that's smaller in a rural market and it's going to be difficult to finance, maybe has low occupancy, the debt service coverage ratio isn't very strong, and it's just a smaller project and you don't have a home for it that you can find or identify in your buyer's list, then contact me. Call me. I'll go take a look at it and very quickly give you an answer as to whether this is something that I'd be interested in. Give me 48 hours, all the information you have, and I'll write you an offer, or at least tell you where I think it should trade at. And if not, no harm, no foul. But I'm not a tire kicker. I have the ability to close. So this is a phone number that you want to keep. And that is true, whether you're starting out or not. We've got a large community. We have a whole bunch of folks that are looking at facilities, and whether it's too small or too large, it may be something that we're interested in anyways. So regardless of what you're out there looking for in the marketplace, you can find a home for it as a wholesaler if it truly is a deal, even if it's something that you don't want. So start with the brokers. All right. Also looking at the multiple listing service. No, this is not the best way to find commercial properties because it is the multiple listing service and this is residential. However, many of these mom and pop owners, some of them may have a license. They may have a family member who decided to get a license and begin in real estate. They're not doing very well. And so we're going to throw this cousin, this sister-in-law a bone and have them list our commercial property, our self-storage facility on the multiple listing service. Not going to get a lot of eyeballs, not a lot of traction, but the good news is there's not a lot of competition, and we've purchased facilities from the multiple listing service. So another rock to look under to make sure that you are finding any and all facilities that are available. Now, if you put 100 mom and pop, smaller self-storage facility owners in a room, and you ask them to raise their hand if they felt like they owned if their self-storage facility was a real estate play, a real estate investment, or if it was a business investment that they purchased and or started from scratch. And you're going to get about a mixture of about half and half, about 50% for each. And then if you ask somebody, is it both? About 100% of them will say, yeah, it's both. So for that reason, again, that's a benefit to us from an SBA standpoint for lending, because the SBA wants to get money out into the marketplace. Also, the business brokerage community will benefit from this because these mom and pop owners are contacting these business brokers, to list their facility for them. And there's a number of websites out there that are specifically just for self-storage, but also just small businesses that an individual or the mom and pop owners can list their facility on these sites as well without having to go to a broker. So for that reason, if they're going to test the waters and they don't want to spend a lot of money and they don't want to pay a brokerage fee, then you're going to find a number of these facilities out there that are listed on these small business brokerage websites. Now, the good news is that there's a lot of these out there. There's a lot of brokerage companies, the commercial brokers and the real estate brokers, self-storage specific brokers. There's also a lot of many small business brokers, more so than you're going to find in commercial real estate. So we've identified about 60 of the top groups. I can't list them all; they're changed all the time, but we do have a list of those that we utilize and we farm from time to time in the markets that we're investing in. But our students are out there hitting these on a regular basis using virtual assistants in their backyards, and they change all the time, and the listings are popping up all the time. So we have a list of the top sites to go to. We included in our home study system, so easy to find for those of you that already have that. And for those of you that don't, we have had some questions because some of you folks are new to us and what we do over here in our investing business, our education business. And so Kurt is going to, we discussed it, he's going to put up a link to our home study system. It's a combo. We have a promotion right now, so it's fairly timely. We're going to Orlando for our first live event of the year in February. And although you can go to our website and find out information on this, we decided that we're going to offer a little special for those of you that are watching live. And if you look in the chat right now, Kurt has added the link to that. So we have a special promotion. It's a bundle. Includes our home study system and tickets to our live academy. If you can't make it live in Orlando in February, you can come to another one. If you're not interested in doing the live event during this time right now, you can attend the virtual event and you still get the home study system bundled up in that. But it gives a lot of materials and resources and it adds color and background and to-do lists and basically everything on it's called the Complete Guide to Finding, Evaluating, Purchasing, and Managing Self-Storage Facilities. So this is what we've been offering and putting out into the marketplace. It's selling for 15 years, and we've created dozens of millionaires in the self-storage business from this home study system and folks that come to our academy. So go check that out while Kurt has put this offer out there at this discount. Okay, so why do we like the small business brokers so much? Well, because there's a whole lot of them and not many people are willing to go to those sites. Well, again, we've listed them out. It's in the home study system. And if you're willing to go farming, there's gold in them, there are hills. I'm here to tell you, there's a lot of mom and pop owners that are listing their facilities, and there's very few people that are going through and mining those lists. But some of the best deals that we found, a lot of smaller ones, but that's good. But some of our best deals we found on the business brokerage websites. So these are just an example. What is a business brokerage or a broker website? So like Sunbelt is one of the biggest and most well-known, and Biz Buy Sell, I think, is another one. So those are some of the bigger ones that are more active. But for all of those, there's 60 plus other sites out there to be able to look for self-storage facilities. All right, another place is the self-storage specific website. So I'm not talking about brokers. I'm not talking about small business websites. I'm talking about self-storage for sale websites. So you could count LoopNet as one of those. And I see some of you had put the LoopNet link into the facilities that you had found. And that's commercial real estate, but you can trick it, right? You click on an industrial and then put storage in it for a search term, and it'll just pull up self-storage. And so I include that as one of them. But I would also check out selfstorages.com, another location to find just self-storage facilities. Now there's also brokerage houses that deal just in self-storage. So MJ Partners, Self-Storage Brokers of America, Self-Storage Brokers of America, or SSBA. Marcus and Millichap has their own arm. It is a brokerage company, but they have their own self-storage arm. So that's another one, and website that's dedicated to just self-storage. Argus is another one. And again, we've got a full list of all the websites of all the self-storage specific sites, brokers, and companies that you can go look at to make it a little easier for you to look for. And my favorite, the best way that I have found to find self-storage facilities is mailers. It's my favorite. So we don't send out yellow letters. We don't send out postcards. Some of our students do. They've had good luck with that. I prefer to send out a letter in a number 10 envelope, handwritten, hand stamped, so it looks like a letter from mom. That's what gets opened. And a blind mailer open rate, response rate, not just open rate, a response rate where somebody actually replies to you, some for real estate is somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 to 3%, primarily. And so what we found is that we're basically double that. We're 4 to 6% response rate and higher depending upon our mailings. And so again, hand stamped, hand addressed, looks like a letter from mom. When I began this process, we were doing it on our own. Then we got a VA, virtual assistant, to do it. Then our kids became our VAs, and they started doing some of these. But now we've handed this off to a large degree, and quite honestly, it's been a while since we've done a mailer. Typically, when we're hitting a market, it's a smaller market within usually 5 to 10 miles of the site that we just purchased. So that's the max. So we start at that site because we want to get economies of scale by buying other facilities there. We can centrally manage, or at least assist our regional supervisor, can look at other facilities there. But in terms of, where are we finding projects to work on and where are we finding our deals right now, we don't do a lot of outbound marketing because I write a lot of articles and I speak at the trade shows, and because we've been at this for 15 years. There's a number of folks that bring deals to us that we partner with them on. We have a lot of private equity houses that are looking to work with us, that bring us deals and that we get involved in with as well. But this has proven to be the better deals because we're sending these mailers out just like commercial brokers are. Yes, we're competing with them to a degree, but it doesn't mean that they're not still on our team, because there are many, many owners that won't deal with an individual. They'll only deal with a broker. And so we want to make sure that we have good relationships with our brokers, even though we're competing with them, because they have the keys, they have access to these deals and off-market deals that you won't have access to. You may pay them a 3% fee, you may pay them a 6% fee, but if you create relationships with them, again, you're going to have a steady flow of properties. But on the mailer side is where you're competing against them, trying to get to that seller. Your letter lands on the desk at just the right time, and whatever it says something better than the postcard they received from the king or the queen of self-storage in that market, who's going to get them more money for their property than if they were to sell it to somebody else who just sent them a mailer. So we've got a letter that we've been sending out for 15 years, and we've got 7 versions of that letter with only a few words, a handful of words, or little ways and nuances that we've tweaked that gets us that 4 to 6% response rate. And so a typical mailing, if we send out 800 to 900 letters, we're going to get at 25 responses. We've got maybe a dozen that we're going to be looking at. Maybe we put offers on all of those. Maybe we put offers on 2 to 3. Maybe we still put offers on about a half of those, and some of them are wholesale opportunities that we wholesale off to our community. The folks that are in our mastermind or the folks that are in our mentoring programs, they obviously get first crack at those. And then anybody else in our community at large who may be interested in these projects, because we get access to a lot of properties that are off market that people just won't get access to. And unfortunately, many of you, your eyeballs will never see the properties that we're transacting here within our community. So one of the secrets to this as well, the mailing campaign, is that when I first started sending these out, I went to the nation's largest list broker. They scrub their database more than anybody else. They have a larger database than anybody else in terms of virtually all records. And I purchased the list of self-storage facility owners, and what I got back was a whole bunch of convenience stores and all kinds of things that had some type of storage associated with it, but it wasn't all self-storage. And so I said, I'm not paying per record for all those. So we're going to scrub this list, and here's what I want you to take out. And then you're going to give me a discount or a refund. And they did. And so now we have a pre-scrubbed list that takes out the SIC codes that don't pertain to self-storage. We don't want necessarily, I buy cold storage, but if we're looking for, specifically for self-storage, I'm going to take out those SIC codes that pertain to different types of storage that has nothing to do with self-storage. So I can get a pre-scrubbed list. Now, what they won't scrub out is or are the big guys. So you're still going to get, depending upon your market, you may have 10 listings of public storage or extra space or life storage, stores, any of the CubeSmart, any of the other large ones. And so we don't want to be wasting money on those, and we're not going to be sending letters to those folks anyways. So we're going to get a pre-scrubbed list. We're going to scrub it the rest of the way, take those out. And then at that point, we're going to send those mailers off and get the response rate that we are looking for. So again, also pointing back to all the work that we've done in our home study system is an arrangement with the largest list broker in the country to get you a discount on a pre-scrubbed list, but that is only for folks that are already in our ecosystem. They are part of our community by way of coming to the academy or purchasing the home study system, because it's in the home study system. So that will go out to you. And just make sure you ask for the super secret Scott discount by being one of our students when you talk with our list broker. All right. So with that, gang, we're seeing, again, on average, still right about a 6% response rate when we sent out a mailer just recently after we closed on a project in one particular market. That's what we continue to see. So, guys, if you're struggling to find deals, first of all, I see, unfortunately, many people say, "Well, there's no deals out there. I can't find any deals, or all the good deals are gone." It's because they go to LoopNet and they're looking for, they get discouraged because what they're looking for isn't there or in their market. And I will just tell you, first of all, you are going to be making deals and creating deals. You're not just going to be finding deals. The low-hanging fruit doesn't just come that easily. And the low-hanging fruit usually never makes it to market because of what we just talked about, going to the business brokers. And even though it's kind of out there in the public, we're snatching them up before most people know where to look at them. We're contacting the brokers to catch these deals before they go to market, and then we're finding them on our own before they go to market. Those are the best deals. If you just don't do those three things, you are going to have more deals than you know what to do with. And we have 11 other ways. We have 11 ways total that we look at buying self-storage facilities. But if you focus on those, that is what is going to begin to put deals in your funnel. Now, the next thing is, how do you know whether it truly is a deal, which is why we went through this exercise. And so what I'm going to do is we're going to go back to the chat here. And okay, so let's see here. That's there. Chris had mentioned that LoopNet also has a self-storage selection, and yes, they do. They do. It's a checkbox. I like that, but you know what? There's some people that look at mini warehouse or listed as mini warehouse, mini storage, not just self-storage. So I want to catch everything. So I put storage in as a keyword because it's usually it's in their secondary search if you were actually listing something on your own. So that's what's going to catch them, Chris. But I also put warehousing in there as well because we want to find that. Okay. All right, Kane, yes, I did answer your question. That is included in the home study system. There you go. All right. Other questions? Other questions? All right, gang. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you your homework assignment, and we'll open it up for questions for just a minute here in the Q&A. And okay, Gary, just for fear, it's either Gary or Jerry, if I pronounce whichever way. I got them both, but your spelling, I've got family members that have their name spelled that way, and they pronounce it Jerry, and I've seen it as Gary. So we are in that area. I don't own anything in that area, but we have students that are there, and we've looked at it, but not doing anything active. And I'll just tell you that we are interested in increasing our holdings in that area, and we'll leave it as that. How's that? But strong market, we like it. Okay. Chris, hey, Kurt, Chris said he sent 2 questions to the team email 10 minutes before we started. So if you could look those up, that'd be great. Or Chris, if you can type them in here very quickly, that'd be fantastic as well. But let's do this. While we've got everybody's attention here, since we're at the top of the hour, here's your homework assignment. Here's your action item, okay? If you want a chance to win and have your name put in the hat. I want to know what the 2 strategies that you are doing to use to find undervalued deals. Why did you select those strategies, and when are you going to start these strategies, and who's going to hold you accountable? So anything that you're doing right now, anything that we talked about here today, what are the 2 strategies that you are going to begin doing to use to find undervalued deals? Why did you select these strategies? When are you going to start these strategies? And who is going to hold you accountable? So you need to come back with the answers to those. Okay, so what are you doing? You have to be doing. That's what this is all about. Nothing happens until you take action. Everything else is just theory and ideas. But how are you implementing these right now? And so that is what you're going to submit and send in to us and to Kurt tomorrow. Okay. All right, gang. Now we're going to answer a few questions here. All right, Chris asked, the main question was, I was wondering what you might consider your top 3 to 5 resources in the self-storage arena. Wow, my top 3 to 5 resources in the self-storage arena. I mean, I could paint a broad brush stroke and just say it's our relationships. Resources are secret to success. I mean, gosh, we've been at this a while. And so, our ability to raise capital, we've been doing things successfully and with a high level of integrity for a long time. And we've been teaching people and giving back. We give probably more than just about anybody else in the industry. And so as a result of that, people are drawn to us, and that's how we've been able to grow our team, the people we work with, our private equity partners, and our lenders, because we perform and we do well and we give back. So our top 3 to 5 resources, nothing gets done until you have the funding. So I say it's our private equity folks. We will do anything and everything in our power this side of the law to make sure that we get returns back to our investors. That's our lifeblood. So I'd say that's one. Oh, you said top 3 to 5. Our lending relationships, and then my staff, the incredible people like Kurt that I have beneath me, and Bethany, and Brenda, and Mark, and Margarita, who's over in the Philippines, and Jacob, just an incredible team, and Larry and Catherine, that are just rock stars in each and every area of what they do for us. And so, if I could say, top 3 to 5 resources, well, it's just a team. We've been building a team once I stopped doing, just enough deals I could do it on my own with a handful of consultants and external vendors. 10, 11 years when we began building our team out. It took us that long to get a team of rock stars. And so that's another one of my top resources. Let me see, those things you wouldn't do without. Well, yeah, we wouldn't be here if it weren't for money in our team. So that's it. In terms of, resources now when we say things you wouldn't do without, I'd say now I'm looking and thinking of tools that we use. And, we invested $25,000 a year in the Yardi Matrix software to analyze markets all across the country. And we did this partially for ourselves, but mostly for our students and mostly for our folks that are in our mastermind. So these are A players who are operating at the highest levels. And there's 25 of us in that room now, and growing by leaps and bounds, especially during this time of heading into more uncertainty. And these are the A players that are doing a lot of deals. And so we decided that we would invest in the Yardi Matrix and have the ability to get into their software, their portal, to do market analysis and market studies, and make that available to the members of our mastermind and our high level students. So that is one that has just shaved off so much time, and it's no replacement for getting boots on the ground and looking at a market, but that has been one of those incredible resources that has proven to be, well, it's continued to produce an ROI for us over and over again. All right. Maybe, Chris said maybe a particular periodical or association or website for statistical data. Yeah, it's not a website for statistics. Well, I guess it is, but that's what I just mentioned, which is Yardi. A particular periodical or association, Self-Storage Association, great. Love Inside Self-Storage. I speak at their trade show. Love the show. Is it instrumental that I couldn't do without? I can't say they wouldn't. It would, love to have them around, but I can't say that would be a deal killer. Not the same as not having my equity partners and my teammates. So, and again, Yardi being one of those tools, that's pretty incredible. How about the ability to do to transact rentals by way of technology at our sites and run a facility unmanned by having, in some cases, a small. We don't have kiosks anymore, even by having a small iPad style electronic unit inside of our vestibule or inside of our lobby area, and/or a responsive website where people can lease a unit from their phone and without having to have a person on site. So I cannot imagine doing without that. Yeah. I'll be talking about the resources at ssi.com, so I'm more interested in the others that you use regularly as well. So I think that's yeah, those are the regular ones. I'm trying to think of any others I get into outside of that, Chris. It's probably anything outside of that, Chris, would just be tools that I use on a daily basis. I mean, just like Google Calendar to, I use that to organize my time. I'm on a lot of podcasts. I continue to feed my brain. Things I can't live without. The occasional afternoon nap. How's that? I'm an early riser. I go to bed late, get up early. I require very little sleep, and every once in a while, an afternoon nap. That's key. All right. I think I've gotten through them all. Kane asked, what other centers of influence can bring you deals besides brokers? Do you ever get leads from CPAs or bankers? I don't. They come by way of brokers. We've got a large community of, again, folks that are in our mastermind that bring us deals that they're all very active out there. And so they send deals our way. If it doesn't match their criteria or they've got too many on their plate, our students, again, the folks that are actively working with us, it's been a good source of deal flow. And gosh, that is, again, the lion's share of our deals are coming to us by way of our infrastructure and just, the community, our ecosystem, the people that we've been working with, and we teach how to go out and do just this thing. Very funny, Bob. Glad that I have a fan. Do you guys have a target cap rate you look for when underwriting an opportunity? No. It's going to make a couple of people chuckle on this. Here's the deal. So many of you that have been around for a while, and the folks that have our home study system, we've been doing this again for 15 years. And so at the time when I wrote it, I said, here's what we're looking for. If it's all things being equal and it's a facility, maybe a value add that's 70, 75% occupied, we want to take it up to 80, 85% or so. Well, I want to be buying it at about a 10 cap. And this is at a time 15 years ago when interest rates were at 8. And so my point was, the second piece of that is I'd like to buy a facility, all things being equal, with a little bit of upside. And if I'm going into it and I'm 2 to 3 percentage points on a cap rate above what the market is trading at, then that's a deal that I like. So cap rates at that time were right around 8%. So I said, I want to buy in today's market, I want to buy 10% cap rate deals. So that stuck with me forever. I've been tagged with that, and people on our YouTube channel, even people that come into our mastermind, and our students saying, do I need to be looking for 10% cap rate deals? And said, well, you're gonna have a hard time finding those in today's market because today's interest rates are 4. They're half of that. So if you get a yield spread of 6, you better buy it, first of all. But no, you're not going to be able to find that. So the idea is 2 to 3 percentage points above, again, all things being equal. Now, would I buy a property that has a 0% cap rate, which means that, the income and expenses are equal, or a negative cap rate? Yeah, and I have. Well, why would you do that? That sounds pretty stupid, Scott. Well, if it's at 10% occupancy or 0% occupancy or 15% occupancy and it's at a 0% cap rate, then yeah, I know where the upside is. Once I get it up to 85% and how much I'm paying for it versus where I can take it, if that makes sense, then I'll buy it at a 0% cap rate. So I'm answering your question very vaguely, unfortunately, Jacob, but that's the reality of it. So we don't get hung up on a cap rate and a market cap rate, and that's different across all markets. It's different across the asset class, or excuse me, the asset type, whether it be A, B, or C. So yeah, there is no such thing as all things being equal and market cap rates and where we are right now. So there you have it. Donna asked, does your company own the secure care facility near 54th and Keystone? If so, are you willing to sell it? No, I don't own it. And no, I'm not willing to sell it. I know exactly which one you're talking about, but we do own some development property on Keystone. Be happy to talk to you about that. We haven't developed it yet. Marty says, is it wrong to want to start with a small deal I can do by myself versus a bigger deal I would need to partner on? Well, I can answer that for you, Marty. That's when this goes back to what we talked about yesterday, which is, what is what is the intrinsic value to you on this project? Would you rather do something on your own, to do it on your own, even if it's smaller and you're going to have to do a little more of the work on it? Only you can answer that. If you're not comfortable with partners and you don't want to give that up, or if it's a deal that doesn't have a lot of room to do it, then get this one under your belt. And then it's easier to partner or easier to go do your next one without someone. I'm just saying my thought is you don't have to do what I've done. I'm just saying that you should be, I should have been open to looking to bring in partners earlier on in my career. I would have been further along, and I'm just thankful that I did. So there's no right or wrong way to do this. Plenty of very successful people that have done this on their own. They've grown a little bit slower because they are doing it on their own. But there's many people that are in partnerships that wish they would have never gotten into partnerships, that wish they would have done it on their own as well. So there are those experiences out there. So only you can have the answers to that. Kane said, have you ever attempted door knocking or cold calling compared to mailings? The answer is yes and yes. So yes, I have. I'm a junkie. I'm a self-storage junkie. When I'm driving around and I see a site that meets my criteria, which means that I can see that it's sizable enough and it looks like it's not being well kept, not being taken care of. Really no signs of marketing out front, no flags, no banners, no bandit signs. Curb appeal looks like crap, or there's tattered flags out front. I'm pulling in there because there's a tired owner behind it and somebody's taking their hands off the wheel. So I do that. But also, what I didn't mention in the previous section, we're talking about our mailers. A mailer is only good as the phone follow-up afterwards. So you can get a 6% response rate, fantastic on your mailers, but you want 8 to 10? Well, then you dig in and you call all those people and say, hey, did you get the mailer that I sent you last week? Oh, no, I didn't. What did it say? Oh, well, briefly, I'm a self-storage professional just like yourself. We're looking to expand in your market. And so we sent mailers out to multiple facilities and just, looking to see if, maybe your competitors are interested in selling, or perhaps your facility or the one you work at is for sale. And so we're just trying to get a gauge as to what's going on in the market. So that, again, cold calling, absolutely. Following up with or a mailer followed up by cold calling, yes. Pulling on doors as you're driving around the market, absolutely, absolutely. All right. Good point. So Bob had mentioned it's important to discern between partners and investors. You really don't want partners if you can help it. So if you are, and I couldn't agree more. So if you are entering into a project, you may have, it may be a joint venture in which you have partners on the general partner side in which you're collectively making decisions, and that doesn't always turn out well. In many cases, partnerships, there's typically somebody who feels like they're doing more of the work, therefore they're bringing more to the table, therefore they should be paid more. And this is after you've already signed all the operating agreements and LLCs and documents to move forward. They could happen a month later, could happen 1 year later, 2 years later, could happen at the time you sell, where somebody stands up and says, I want more money prior to closing. And, it kills a friendship, it kills a partnership. So I like, to Bob's point, I like investors where I am the general partner and I'm the managing member and I call the shots, and everybody else is a limited partner or just a member of the LLC. So they can all vote me out if they want to, but the major decisions are borne by me, and I don't have to consult with anybody else. I'm going to do what's in the best interest because I'm going to have skin in the game. I got money into the deal and my credit's on the line usually. So there's my vested interest and my downside and what my at risk in a project. So I'm going to want to drive this thing forward quite a bit. But that is the arrangement, as Bob had mentioned, that I want to get into, in which I am calling the shot. and my investors are coming along with us. They have equity in it, so they're partners, but they're investors. So they get shares, they get of the LLC. They get a K1 at the end of the year, so they can depreciate the property and the project as well. But in terms of the day-to-day operations and the management and the direction, driving force behind the project, the LLC, that's me. Melissa asks if you contact a smaller facility but find that they have a manager there, do you try to get through to the owner? Yeah, I do. I'll just, as much as you can, and it's really easy to do. I mean, you can go, take a look. Again, our list broker has the owners in it. You can do a quick search, have your virtual assistant do a quick search of the public records to find out who the owner is, send a letter to them, follow up with a phone call, and then just ask the person behind the counter. Usually that gatekeeper is just that. It's not just the manager, the gatekeeper to the owner, and they've been told not to disclose the name of the owner. That's not always the case, but certainly try there. But there are other ways to get to the owner by way of phone calls and sending mailers through to them as well. Okay. Any other questions, gang? All right, then. Your homework assignment, again, to be able to qualify to choose at the end of this week from our combo package to go to the academy with our home study system or the physical home study system, or our $97 a month quick start Kickstarter program. You are going to go out and look at facilities with the strategies that we've discussed or others that you're doing currently, and you're going to submit the 2 strategies that you're doing to find undervalued deals. So off-market deals, undervalued deals, whatever that looks like. Why did you select those 2 strategies? And when are you going to start these strategies if you haven't started already? And who's going to hold you accountable? All of that's very important, or you're not going to get off the ground, gang. It's that simple. So these homework assignments, as you can imagine, are designed to get you into action. So that's what we're all about. We're driving action here. We are your accountability partners for this week. So go out and make that happen. All right, gang. Anything else before we sign off? Kurt, anything else that we need to relay to the folks? Okay. It looks like that is a wrap, folks. So everybody have a productive afternoon and or evening, then a relaxing evening, and look forward to chatting with you all tomorrow, where we're going to begin to look at what it takes to determine if a deal, it truly is a deal now that you've been out there looking. So again, the link is in the chat. Gang, we'd love to have you in Orlando. Kurt's offered, I can't even take credit for it, a sweet discount to get you to Orlando. And if you want to come get a copy of our home study system so you can get up to snuff and certainly begin the process by having all the tools and resources, but then coming to Orlando to the Self-Storage Academy, where we fill in the gaps and we put it into practice with my team. My team will be down there, and looking forward to getting back together with all of you. And yeah, moving forward, 2021 is going to be epic. We'd love to have you come along with us. So click on that link there if you have not yet joined. One other question is, well, first of all, thank you. My pleasure, Victoria. She said thank you for today's info. And Bill asked, will you do a live event in Indiana this year? The answer is yes. We will be doing a live event in Indiana this year. So sit tight. We are negotiating with the hotels as we speak, but that is coming soon. So, all right, gang. With that, everybody have a great evening, and we will see you all very soon. Take care. Bye now.